Well, hello and welcome to another episode of Tarot for Our Times. I'm Sarah, your medium on the go. Now, I was a little hesitant to do this story because it has been so widely covered, and I know a lot of my colleagues are pulling cards on this, but in the interest of showing this as from the viewpoint of someone who's been in recovery for 36 and a half years, I do have to go go into that whole New York Times story about the muskrat. He's been abusing drugs now. It's good to know that I've been, over 6 months ahead of the New York Times, but I think you don't have to be psychic. All you needed to do is see the inauguration and other events where he's been absolutely high. But today's show is brought to you by the Ten of Cups in reverse, which it just hit me today. As I usually see this as the revelation of the illusions of the happily ever after, but in this case, with cups in reverse and the family, this is a dysfunctional family card. We've got all these cups in reverse, which is mental illness, it's substance abuse and addiction, codependence, the whole thing. So again, it's one of those things. It depends on what you're talking about and where it falls in the into the spread. Now, we've seen a lot of erratic behavior from all of these people. And where the enabling comes in is that it's part of which I did not know, but I'm not surprised to hear, that part of this New York Times story is saying that the muskrat was given the heads up as to when the drug testing was going to begin. And I can tell you from my old New York neighborhood of East Village, Lower East Side, that before the internet, one had to only walk 10 minutes in any direction to go to the nearest head shop to either get something to drink or to get the recipe of how one could beat the various drug tests. There were different things you would drink for different, like marijuana had one thing, Coke had another. So, I mean, it's kind of like any idiot. I mean, now in the age of the internet, boy, but even before, it was very, very easy for people to get over with this. So, in a way, maybe that's why drug tests are a big joke anyway. So, so we've got all of this. We've got Robert Kennedy, Jr., who I have felt that he's really, really vulnerable to having a relapse on smack, because that's the high. Heroin is the highest, because of its incredibly addictive behavior. That and crack, I think, is run neck and neck as to having the most relapses. So with that, the pressure that he's under, I'm not saying he's going to, and of course this is for entertainment purposes only, but he's vulnerable. And his emotional state is kind of like all over the place too. So I don't know that this is a job that he can handle, because he got such blowback in Congress at congressional hearings that I think he's a hearing away from, DC. You don't have to go far to score any kind of dope. So I want to take a look and see if he's going to. I would say at the very least he's absolutely nuts. I mean, all of this stuff, I don't even want to repeat it, but this crazy behavior. So if he isn't going to be using again, I would call him a dry high. That he's got it's like the dry drunk. He's got all of the behavior characteristics. So we're going to take a look at that. I just want to make room so I can have my cards. So then there's Pete Hegseth. He's got, that guy has got to be hanging by a string. So actually, what the reads will be is what's going to happen with this whole thing, because you put them all together, and you go to some AA meetings or Al-Anon, and all those codependents, adult children of alcoholics, the whole thing. And I'm telling you, you hear all of those stories and you will be able to immediately relate it to this whole scene in the White House. So it is one big, total dysfunctional fest. So we're going to see what happens. I want to see what it would do in the shorter reads if JFK is very vulnerable to having a relapse. What's going to happen with Pete, and also the since he's the star of the show today, so the Muskrat health, and there is the child endangerment issue, and I'll just, so I don't forget it, I thought it was appalling that he's schlepping his 4-year-old, or I guess he's 5 now, as like a human shield. And then it just occurred to me today, because Adam Mochler was talking about that in his video, and it took me back to, in 1996, I was working at at a big hotel in Seattle, and we did a cater out for the Bill Gates mansion, because he was hosting the wedding dinner for his father. So we got the room all set up, and Bill and Melinda came in, and with their firstborn, the kid was just like about this big, brought him in, and they had, put the kid was in a carrier, they put it down, and they oh yeah, this is very, very nice. And they took it out, and I thought, gee, I think I said to someone, yeah, it's interesting. It seems like they're really, they've got all the help in the world, that they were carrying that baby into the dining room, and that they were being very protective. And one of my coworkers said, well, they will not allow anyone to take a picture of that baby, and they don't want to take a chance that someone is going to be there with a camera. And I thought, oh, of course, obvious reasons, kidnapping. And so as the years went on, I noticed that he had a couple more kids, but you never saw pictures of them. I didn't see a picture of those 3 kids until they were all grown up in college or whatever. So it makes me think that, like, Elon Musk has exposed that little boy. Everybody in the world knows what he looks like, but it's like an ego trip. It's an ego trip kind of thing, without thinking of the ramifications of exposing a child like that in the public, because kidnapping a little Muskrat Jr., I mean, that would be an incredible payday for somebody. So to me, that is totally irresponsible. I mean, it's bad enough he's using him as a human shield. That's very disgusting. But the fact that kid is plastered all over the place it's kind of like that alcoholic, like, look at my kid. I made a kid. It's that total addict mentality, but we'll get into that. But I just had to say that, because there's another layer to him taking that kid everywhere and allowing him to be photographed. So, okay, so I had to get that out of the way. So first, we're going to take a look, and we're going to do the longer reading about what this all means. Okay, so use this deck. Because this never ends well. So let's see, we have here, we have the 6 of Cups in reverse. And usually this is about the whole Make America Great Again fantasy world, and let's go back to the past that never really existed. But I'm going to say this is about the absolute immaturity, and it's their cups in reverse. It's the absolute immaturity and the denial of all the Hegseths, the Muskrats, the RFK Juniors, and don't forget the head honcho, who has been rumored for entertainment purposes only that he's been huffing the Adderall, and that he may be on amphetamines. It's a very Hitler-esque kind of a thing. So we have the energy crossing that as, and it's also denial when they're in that immature state. Oh, I don't have a problem. So then we have the energy of the Page of Wands. So what people have been talking about, of course, my colleagues and I have been on the internet for months talking about all of this. But now, since it's all gone, we're not even the mainstream of the, of YouTube, actually. We're kind of the alternative thing for the alternative in the news area. So here we have the Page of Wands, who has been, he's been the messenger. He's brought the message that this was going on. Why anybody would be surprised, but, you never know. Okay, so the before tarot, we have the Page of Wands in reverse, getting ready to deliver the message. I would say this is about the New York Times and all of these other douchebags who, they knew it. I mean, they knew it. As I say, you don't even have to be psychic. Look at the inauguration. Look at this. I mean, look at so many things. Yet they've been holding off, and now they give the message. So then the follow-up to this is the High Priestess in reverse. This is going to be, secrets will be revealed. This is going to be this all tumbling out. And if we're going to make the Third Reich comparison, Hitler was on amphetamines, and although he ran a tight ship and people being drunk or high or anything like that, that in the end, when they all had to be up 24 hours a day while they lost the war, people did start abusing drugs, and Hitler got hooked on amphetamines. And then it was sort of like it all unraveled. So this is the High Priestess saying this is all going to unravel. So underlying this whole thing is trying to hide it, but the Sun in reverse says that the cloud, I don't care how cloudy it is, the sun comes peeping through the clouds. So you tried to hide it, but it's not working. And this is about trying to leave the rest of us out in the cold. This is like, well, all of this is crazy. So much is with the Doge Boys. So much is being taken away because they had a drug addict running the whole thing. And I have a feeling that those guys were. It's very likely, since he probably had them working around the clock, I'm sure he gave them stuff too, because now Adderall has been added to his cocktail. And I said months ago, it's just not the ketamine. He's doing some other stuff with it. And when he goes out and parties, he gets the party drug, which is ketamine cut with a lot of speed, coke, whatever. Then we have justice, the justice system. So this is talking about, it may catch up with them eventually, but they're getting away with it now because rich people get away with this stuff. But justice is waiting, and that could be just another whole thing. I remember the bag of coke that was, left when Biden was in office, and they put it on Hunter, who hadn't even been there when the bag First of all, it could have been planted, but or Eric could have left it behind. You know, who knows when. So it's funny because it's all this projection. Let's put it on the other team. Let's do that. Okay. So in opposition in opposition to this, we have Seven of Wands. It's very interesting because when it's in reverse, see, when he's upright, he's holding them off. What this is saying is that now that the cat's out of the bag officially, that they may not be able to hold back the repercussions that could come with this. So this is just another thing to, because so many of us just say, oh, big deal, like who didn't know it? Apparently, well, it comes out in the New York Times. It goes beyond a few tarot cards being pulled, that's for sure. So, on the conscious level with this, we have, oh, goodness. The Eight of Pentacles in reverse. I would say on the conscious level, this could also be about, it's the money and it's the health that may be a concern, or it could be, the loss of money and health, which could be a concern for maybe the enablers. We cannot forget the enablers. Subconscious thought, we have the Star. So this is the whole denial thing, like, you're going against your better, gut feeling and all this sort of thing. It is the denial and the fantasizing about this. And also the fact of with all of this that's happened, I think from the top orange dude on down, there's the whole thing of the worry about he's not the big star anymore. And that's behind. And so, he, the muskrat leaving, or supposedly leaving, that's been a big battle of theirs. So this, and then you throw the drugs into the mix, then you get the paranoia. So I call this, this is interesting. I think I just got a hit here saying that I, loving the movies the way that I do, that with the Star in reverse, if you've ever seen Sunset Boulevard, this could be the Norma Desmond card. Yep. This could be because briefly that it's a brilliant performance by Gloria Swanson, who plays the silent movie star, she's older. She's no longer the big star, but she lives in the whole big fantasy world that she's going to make the comeback. And I really see, and she loses her mind too. This is how I'm seeing Trump. And this is a subconscious thing of his fear of going the route his father did, and that he's not as much of the big hot shot as he was. And this is very subconscious. So what better to do but do a little self-medication, play another round of golf. So this is very interesting. Okay, so in the past, we have Page of Cups in reverse. Interesting. This is the cavalcade of the titty babies. This is the titty baby card. And they're all this is a very infantile, ego, narcissistic thing. And this is the muskrat crying because he's not selling the Teslas as much, and yada, yada, yada. So we have got that going on. And these are the kind of people that they will take their drugs as a comfort and to self-medicate. And this is the root of it in the past, present, and future, unless they get the help. So in the here and now, we have We have victory. We have the election has been won. We can do whatever the hell we want to do, basically. But as I've said a lot of times, these people, they're just not into them, but they're still riding the waves of this false victory. And so, in order to, but this thing, this is kind of like going back to the old movie star thing. It's like you're on top, but there are other people that are going to topple you down. So the whole thing is staying on top, and that's a lot of hard work. And that's where drugs and alcohol abuse. It's interesting because it's coming right next to Norma Desmond. Okay. Fight to stay on top. Okay, so in the immediate future, we have the Page of Pentacles in reverse. So this is about this is about being foolish with the money, kind of wasting the money. If he were upright, he might be compassionate, giving it to this little fellow, but it's pretty much about I'll give it to you, but you have to give me something in return. And that is when we're getting into this whole addict, codependent kind of a thing. So as we move along further, we have, this is interesting because we have Justice in reverse, which looks an awful lot like the Hierophant. Only we've got Lady Justice here instead of that religious type of figure. This is the whole thing, is that what happens when people get heavily into their addictions and their codependence is they tend to lose their adoring followers. People can be very, very fickle. So this is what's going to be happening. This is going to peel off more people. It's the hardcore MAGAs. They're kind of a harder nut to crack, but those people maybe that voted for them for very selfish reasons and are not quite in the cult, that's what's peeling off as the behavior becomes more erratic. And I'd love to know what that black eye was with the muskrat. So further in the longer term is again with this this Five of Swords is taking all the goodies and you've won the argument, but you're losing people. So okay, so we have that. So in the hopes and fears, in the hopes we have, well, this is a hope and fear. Interesting that this would come up. In the hope and the fear is the hope of getting all the goodies. Looks like he doesn't quite have them in this one, but he's got them. But the fear is losing the people. That looks like they've gone already. So that looks like, So this is very, very bleak background. So the hope is to get all of it. The fear is to pay the price for getting that. So the concluding card, this is just not good. And the fact that it's being talked about, which means there's going to be more scrutiny. Here we go. So chaotic celebrating. So this is all about, and those cups are really spilling out. They're not quite upright, but this is about them living in the illusion because they're getting propped up by drugs, and you get that invincible feeling and all that sort of thing if you get high enough. But it gets chaotic is what this is saying in the Three of Cups, that in order for them to keep celebrating, they need to keep doing more. And which extends to tariffs, it extends to cutting people off of their benefits and the cruelty aspect, it's addictive. It becomes addictive. Okay, so I'm gonna get rid of these, and let's see. I'm gonna do a quickie on about RFK, because I keep feeling as though this summer, now with free will, he may really, those white knuckles could be very strong, and he may be able to overcome the temptation. I don't know how long that could last if he gets very tempted, but I would say he's going to really be on the brink of relapse, if not relapsing, because he has not been feeling the love whatsoever. So I'm going to take a quick look at him and see what this summer is going to be crucial. This is when everything will be hitting the fan. And the thing is that when this is fueled on drugs, alcohol, and enabling, and I think that the Justice card is saying that, there's only so long far that enabling will take you before it catches up to you. So there's always a price to be paid. So I'm going to take a look at RFK and I'm going to use this fresh deck. I've already shuffled it, and just give it a little bit more. This one's hard to shuffle. Okay, so we will take a look here at where he's at now. Opposition, and then the past and the outcome. Okay, so we have, yes, he's this is telling me he's really, 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 really hanging on to his sobriety or his being clean. It's in a stubborn way. It doesn't, the guy is really, really clinging to it in this card. And it's not easy. It really is not easy. And so let's see. We have the energy with that is the Hierophant in reverse. He may decide, you see, this is where the denial can creep in, because he may just decide, well, they tell me I've got to do it this way, but I think I'm just going to buck the system and try it my own way. This is not looking good, I'm telling you. Okay, so in the past, okay, here we go with the Three of Swords. Okay, so in the world in which he exists, the being in this crowd with him, with the Muskrat and Trump and Pete and all these people, it's like, well, they tell you in the program, don't hang out where people use. This is like he might as well be taking a stroll through a shooting gallery, really, because the paranoia of who's going to betray whom is a big, 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 big factor in addiction, and they're already at each other's throats. So he's got that. So someone is probably going to stab him in the back, or he's going to imagine that someone's stabbing him in the back. This is not good. So let's see. His outcome with that is the Chariot. He could very, very well be moving ahead with his addiction. It's going to be really vulnerable. He better have some phone numbers, but see, people with egos like that, they just think that they can just kind of like do it on their own and just maybe a little hit to mellow me out. I've been this long clean, I'm sure I could handle, and that's what I'm for. They call it the stinking thinking, and I'm really afraid that he could fall prey to that. So You got that. And so, what about Pete? I mean, you know, his latest shenanigans it's just absolutely I don't know. See, I don't follow a lot of this that much to know if he is even saying, "Oh, I'm sober and I'm going to meetings." I don't know if he's putting on that charade or not, but he looks drunk all the time, so I wouldn't believe it anyway. Okay, so Pete, Happy Hour Hegseth, what's going on with him? Okay. And then we're going to do a before and after tarot. Before, what was going on beforehand? I only used, I think, one card out of this. So let's see what happened before. Okay. Okay, so we're going this. And what's going to be the aftermath or the conclusion? Yeah, I think he's so steeped in denial. I mean, I know people have literally climbed out of dumpsters and gotten sober, but you know, he has too many enablers. He has too much money. That's why celebrities just, they have a hard time because of that. So let's see. You know, so he was a celebrity from Fox News too. Okay, so we have the after. Okay, so where is the old Souse at now? Oops. Okay, so we have, he may be out in the cold. There may be somebody really telling him on the QT, whether they have firsthand knowledge or they're in charge of it, saying, you really, really, really have to get yourself together or you are out. You are absolutely out. After those two things, I can't believe he's still there. So I think he may be, somebody may be telling him the energy around this is the High Priestess in reverse, the secrets spilling out, the dark secrets, and I'm sure he has plenty. And it could be that, you know, it's possible that he could step down because of this, or maybe he doesn't want to get fired and he doesn't want. It's like the old saying that people say, you know, I've heard in AA this. For years, I was told that you can't drink and drive, so therefore I didn't drive. I mean, I think that's the whole thing. If I, you know, if I have to give it up, I'll just bye Defense Department, and he can always go back to Fox. They don't care. So leading up to this is the Eight of Pentacles, with the workman putting this up on the wall. The Pentacles up on the wall. So what this is saying is that he's not having an easy time of it too. He's putting those up, and I think this is about his promise to, oh, if I get this job, I'll quit drinking. Oh my God, AA meetings all over the world. We're laughing hysterically over that. So what this tells me is that he's already got those as far as he can reach. He may not be able to get the rest of them up there, which is like he can't keep it. He couldn't keep the promise. He couldn't keep it. So what do we have as a result of this? Oh, again, we have the kids are leaving, the cups in reverse. Cannot put that plug in the jug. And the kitty's running off. I think he's saying, I think I want to go back. I think life was easier when I could be a pretty boy at Fox and drink all that I wanted to drink. So, if given that ultimatum, he may just decide. They told me I had to quit. You know, I couldn't drink while I Defense Department, so therefore I don't Defense Department. I think what this is saying is that there could be, they're really putting the pressure on him to quit drinking, that maybe The enabling patience has really, really worn thin. So, okay. I might do just a teensy bit longer on the muskrat because he is the star of the show. Yeah, I think I will spend a little bit more time on Mr. Muskrat. Okay. So, as I say, that whole thing with the kid is very unsettling. It really is. I mean, the fact that he's using him as a shield, like, oh, no one will shoot a kid. Well, there's some pretty crazy people out there. And they may not have any more political ideology than their Tesla sucks. You know, it could be. Or he promised in one of his ketamine trip outs, he promised me that he was going to take me to Mars. Now he doesn't even take my call. That would be something like that. You know, it really. I'm not. I'm seeing that more as, you know, even more than a disgruntled person that got their benefits or their Medicaid cut. I mean, it could be one of those, but it could be something as, you know, stupid as the minor stuff. Okay. So the muskrat. We'll do a shorter of the longer version. Okay, so the muskrat here. Okay. Muskrat. Okay, so. Oh. I swear to God, you saw me shuffle these. Titty baby is always going to be a titty baby with the cups reversed. This is not looking good for him. This is just like, this is who he is, and he's not going to change. He'll cry, he will cry some rivers. So the energy around this is, oh, it's all mine. Gimme, 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 gimme. It's all mine. There's not ever enough for anything, of anything for me. And so what? And this is like so much him, because look, the landscape. You have this one broken figure. That horse looks like it's the one out of Gone with the Wind when the Atlanta burning. I mean, in fact, that does look like something's burned. This is him. It's him. I mean, these two. The cards are amazing, I'm telling you. So let's see. In the before, there is not a lot of hope for him, and this is just like the utter selfishness. And but he'll do that. But he'll go titty baby when he turns around and looks like there's no one there. He'll go around and do his titty baby cry routine. So let's see. The before is, oh, yep. This is actually, this is the 10 of this is the 10 of swords in reverse. So it's like, everyone says he's still going to be there and influence. I kind of waver back and forth, but I'm thinking on the no side of it is he wants to go back to being the business powerhouse. He doesn't get to be top dog in working in the government. He's got his little lackey boys to do, and I think that's going to fall apart. I really think that's going to fall apart. So this is telling me this is kind of like a walking away, because he's sick of all of these swords. But he's not going to do much better in the business world either. So in the after tarot. Then we have, another, well, this is a funny one. Okay. The Eight of Cups, this is always the walking away card, whether it's in the upright or the reverse positions. This is funny because this is after. She just can't quite leave. In fact, she's still drinking the same old crap that you know that makes her want to leave, or just living in the same god awful stuff. I would say that if she were upright, it would be she's taking just one last drink to see how awful it tastes before walking away. Cups reverse, saying that she means to walk away, but well, let's have another cocktail or two. So I think we'll stay. So there may be. This is interesting. I think he's torn. I honestly, okay, how could we have this and we have this? Um, I think he's torn. I think he's torn. One minute he's going to go, the next minute he's going to stay. I think this guy, well, we have to see a little more. I think this guy's going to win out because he just doesn't like to be a co-star. We've got the battle of the egos, but yet I don't think he wants to upset the Fuhrer because they both have stuff on each other about the election. Okay, so in opposition of this opposition, we have the Page of Wands, which is maybe bringing a more enlightened message, but he is just not capable of getting. So that's opposing it. Others around him may get it, but he won't. He won't. So let's see. In the past, and we'll do another before tarot. So in the past with all of this, we keep getting this. This is very similar, really similar to the, this is interesting. This is the after, is part of the energy of the this guy here. And this is the before with the male figure, and probably a very similar it's like, okay, I want to go, but I'm going to have another drink, which this guy would do, and then he'd go if he were upright. But in reverse, he thinks he's going to go. You know what this is? Okay, I've been a little bit. It isn't the job. Sorry about that. I needed this card to say, okay, I think I didn't. Okay, now I get it. It's the substances. It's not well, I think there is a little bit of back and forth with the, sticking around, but it's more of leaving the addiction. This is saying both of these guys, the woman and the male, are both in reverse. He thinks let me have one more big high off of ketamine cut with a God only knows what. And that'll be it. But no, that isn't. He's going to stick around, and she's going to stick around before and after. So this has always been his thing in the past. As, let me have another good. And of course, I'll tell people I'm not getting high. Let me have another good high, and that's it. Oh boy, how many times was that said? Okay, so we're going to do in the present. Yikes. Okay, give it a bit of a shuffle. Okay, so in the present, oh God, he must be freaking out that now that it's official with the New York Times. And he was stoned in the White House with that black eye. Okay, so in the present we have, we have the Queen of Swords. This is baby mama telling him the truth that you cannot be parading. That's why that whole thing with making that Bill Gates comparison of hiding the kids from, she's telling him you cannot be having that kid paraded outside. In fact, that was some kind of custody deal that she made. So this is his baby mama of that kid saying, if you want peace in the family, and she's got that, so she's wielding that sword. She's telling him, you better you need to get straight. You really need to get straight on this. This is something that people do when they get high. So, In the immediate future, we have, but institutionally wise with drug tests, and it's unacceptable to be high, especially when you have a government job. It's like to hell with all of that. Absolutely to hell. I don't have to do that. Very, very junky mentality. Okay. So that's where he's at now. Then this is a big conflict, which is probably making him want to use all that much more. I wouldn't be using. Yeah, see, this is the thing. I wouldn't be using if we weren't such a nag. Okay, so coming up more. Oh, we have the Empress. The Empress in the aftermath, and in this one, she's had the baby. She's always pregnant, so the after thing, she's had the baby. This is a Russian influence. I'm telling you. I know it sounds like a movie, spy movie thing, but the whole thing is that when people are trying to take you over or get something on you, and this is real KGB stuff, is that they encourage your addiction. That's a way that they can control you. Believe me, Russia and Putin, they do not. In fact, if he couldn't get them, they'd be happy to supply the drugs for him. So there's some kind of a Russian thing that they have something over him, and it always has to do with the addiction. Okay, so that's going to be coming up now. Whether someone from the New York Times or whatever digs it up, that's a whole different story. But there will be there's a Russian connection that's waiting to burst forth. And then we have, this is such an interesting deck. Instead of the couple under the marriage thing, they're leaving. They're leaving. So, to me, what this is saying is that while the women in his life aren't exactly going to divorce him like they would if it were reversed, they're keeping their distance because they still, they need his money to raise his 50 million children. So they're just kind of going off at a distance right now, which is, this is being alienated from his family further. Whether he cares or not, who knows? Okay, so I'm going to do a hope and a fear card. The Queen of Pentacles. He needs a mama to take care of him. He just needs he's a titty baby who needs his mama to take care of him. So here's the hopes that he has that. He's got quite a few of them. But the fear is she's going to make him quit his addiction and try to control him. So that's the hopes and the fears all together. And he's got, look at how nicely she's dressed. She's not quite the Nine of Pentacles, but she's dressed pretty nicely. So he's kind of got to keep them a little bit supported in a way that they've become accustomed. And, although he resists it, but so that's kind of an interesting dynamic. So the conclusion with him is, Queen of Cups. That, to me, this tells in reverse. To me, that tells me that the female part of his mind is manipulating him into telling him he really needs this stuff to keep going. He's really, really dependent on this. And that's a way he does of nurturing himself. He's alienated from his kids, except the little showpiece X. But that's how he's mothering himself, is with the drugs. It doesn't look good. It really does not look good for him, because that stuff rots out your organs. I remember back, I think it was in January, I think I had to look up ketamine, because I had no idea what it does. I feel as though I need to draw another card with this. So let's see. Boy, this comes up again. This is all about the careless celebration and escapism. That kind of a thing. And one more. And oh. When he's high, he just doesn't worry about anything. When he comes down, he worries about stuff when he's high. This doesn't look good. This is, I mean, there is an element of, choice that he could quit, but I would say, a lot of people hit their bottom like they were going to take your kids away. He has so many kids, who can keep track? I bet he can't even keep track of them. This does not look good. And I mean, the fact that he has to wear diapers, the 2 diaper boy. I mean, look at that. These guys are supposed to be ruling the world, and they're wearing diapers, for God's sakes. And, but this is sort of like that infantile thing about how drugs can really stunt your growth. Now, I didn't do a read on the guy at the top. I think that's going to be for another thing, because he may, it's Carrie Fisher knows, having been around, and having a few experience in the world, I know, and when I see one and I'm with her completely with Trump, is like, that guy isn't fooling me. To be psychic and a recovering person, come on. So, this is not looking good. This is not sustainable. This is another example where, if you want to use a Hitler thing, because it's a good comparison, and even the Watergate thing, Nixon was drunk off his ass, like in those last days and those last months before he resigned. He did not draw a sober breath for months. And so this is not sustainable. I mean, Hitler ran a tight ship in the 1930s, but when the war went south for him, it was like, keep the generals on uppers, but then they need the downers to come down. He was doing it, and when the drug abuse increased, that was the fall of his regime. That's the way it goes. This is not sustainable. So if you want to make the Hitler comparison, this is as far as this goes, it's 1945. That's what it is. And as I say, I wanted to look at this from the perspective of someone in recovery and a psychic who's in recovery. So with that, it's not going to get any better. I mean, it's one way that this whole thing is going to fall apart, but it's going to leave a lot of damage. That's the problem. So I will be having more for you soon. So everybody enjoy your weekend. You'll probably see this on Saturday morning. So bye for now.